right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another week of Just Saying with Justin Martindale. I'm Justin Martindale, and I just want to start this podcast episode off with I Told You So. I called the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 14 last week with my buddy, Kevin Christie. We were right. Willow Pill for the win. Spoiler alert. I'm so excited that Willow got to win. I was rooting for her. It was a great season overall, but Willow came out on top or bottom. I don't know. That's their preference. But I will say, has dropped the biggest bop of the summer so far, I Hate People, which is going to be played in every gay bar known to man for the rest of the summer. So congrats to Willow Pill. Very excited about that. I have today a very special guest with me. She is my sister in comedy. She is kind of a sister in life to me. She is one of the co-hosts of Rick Ingram Talks to Strangers, one of the Comedy Store Podcast Network here. She's been a writer for the Comedy Central Roasts, as well as Lights Out with David Spade. And we're going to be filming our half-hour specials here on Sunday at the Comedy Store for the Netflix is a Joke Festival. My dear friend, Sarah Tiana.
Hello, Justin.
Oh, honey, it is so good to see you. I think I talked to you last Friday and was like, come do the podcast. And you were like, yeah, let's do it.
I listened to it. I should be able to hang.
Yeah, you can hang. You can totally hang. You're not unfamiliar with this bunker we're in.
I'm not unfamiliar with the bunker. Definitely unfamiliar with a lot of the pop culture stories because, I only listen to country music from the 90s and sports talk radio.
Same.
So, yeah. So you are how I find out,
about
heaven
things.
That is Britney and the purgatory that is Madonna and the hell that is meth heads killing their boyfriends. So.
Yeah. And you just heard about Willow Pill.
And I just heard about Willow Pill.
The darling
so now
of
I can hang
Drag
in
Race.
all Drag Race conversation.
Oh, you're ready to go. So I'm excited because I brought you on because we have a lot to talk about. I went over to your pool this weekend and we were chatting amongst ourselves. And then I was like, okay, I got to get this episode great for you. So I woke up this morning and watched the Netflix documentary White Hot, the Abercrombie and Fitch story.
Why is it called White Hot?
Because it deals with
it made white people hot.
Well, it's just like Abercrombie and Fitch. Like, what do you remember about Abercrombie and Fitch off the top of your head?
They were expensive jeans when I was in high school. And I could never afford anything from there. That's what I remember.
That's what they go in on. They say it was very expensive. White hot is just when something is so hot that it eventually burns out. But it's also like this store was for white people.
Yes.
And we only hired these coworkers because they were hot.
And they smelled like the perfume.
Fierce. Or Woods.
Yes.
Now, see, I was watching this documentary and I was just like, oh, yeah, of course, this all makes sense. Because as a kid of the 90s and going into the early 2000s, I was there. I remember going to the mall. Going to the mall was the thing. And then there was Abercrombie and Fitch where all the cool kids went. And I was the Spencer's gift shop kid. I was like, I want to go look at neon mushrooms in a black light and go look at the naughty Christmas card collection. So I remember going into an Abercrombie and Fitch and seeing moose heads and flannel and antlers with it looked like a country music store. It did. It looked
like a very fancy boot barn.
Yeah, it was, especially in Texas too. Like all my friends would go hunting and we're into sports and stuff, and so going in there and you get wafted with Abercrombie Woods, and then you're looking around at the pictures of just naked people, just naked dudes, topless girls, pubes, and that was it. And I'm like, where are the clothes? And I remember my mom hated to go in that store because it was loud, the music was always cranked up. And so I'm watching this documentary and I'm like, oh my God, this is my childhood. And one of the many reasons that my childhood was so fucked up.
One.
Just because it was this is what cool kids wear. The guy, his name was Mike Jeffries. He's the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. He was like, what I got from the documentary was that he was a self-hating gay man.
Okay.
Because he never came out of the closet, but everyone was like, you're gay. Like, he got like face procedures that made him like all botched and like crazy. And then, you know, he was like one of those guys that was never cool enough in school. Mm-hmm. So when he got power, he became cool. Much like some comedians we know.
But are there some people that you're like, I'm kind of glad you stayed in the closet? Like, we don't really need you to represent us ever. I mean, are there ever people like that where you're like, or are you automatically like, you should live your truth even if it hurts the rest of us?
It's not my job to tell someone to live authentically. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel. Like, if you want to do it, yes, I support you. But I mean, there is a fine line of like, are we just outing them at this point? Or is it just like, you do you, boo. You go for it.
Well, I definitely think some of his clothes should have stayed in there. But I also remember hanging out at the mall. And I think that is something that maybe the younger generation doesn't quite understand.
Exactly.
Now that there's online shopping, like going to the mall was where you texted. Like that was like live texting. Like that was the only way to really like hang out with people, and you get your Orange Julius or your Dairy Queen or get your cookie cake and you hang out. I mean, you just like roamed around the mall. It was the babysitter.
And that's what they were saying too. They were like, this is a pre-social media. So it was like, you know, yes, there was all this like toxicity and like bad behavior going on in the company, but nobody could talk about it because there was no social media. Now everyone has a platform to say something, and they go into the whole like graphic tees that were like offensive, like two wongs make it white.
Oh my God.
Yeah, do you remember that shirt?
No, I don't remember that.
It was like they went into like, you know, they were marketing these shirts that were like, oh, they're fun, like camp shirts, like going to summer camp, and it was like offensive to like Native Americans. And then this one was like a laundromat service. It was like, you know, that stereotypical Asian reference where, you know, with the hat and like the round face, and it said two wongs make it white, and it was a laundromat service. So the Asian American community, I think out by UC Irvine, I think, they started like protesting Abercrombie and Fitch and being like, this is not okay. And they like pulled it, burned it for evidence, all this stuff. And then there was a photographer named Bruce Weber, who I remember did a whole bunch of like Calvin Klein ads and stuff. So he took a lot of like the classic Abercrombie and Fitch naked men on a horse.
Oh, sure.
Laying in a pile of people at Christmas. Or do you remember that? There was like just a bunch of like hot, emaciated teens with no clothes on. Mm-hmm. And so they talk about how there were allegations against him and about like being a little handsy with some of the models. And he, of course, has denied all of it. Mm-hmm. He's just a photographer. So it was pretty good. It was a good nostalgic piece. It talks about like how it went from being the coolest thing to, you know, everyone on TRL back on, you know, MTV would wear it. And then slowly in the early 2000s, it just became like, ooh, you're like racist and your clothes are expensive. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's just interesting how now at the end of it, they're rebranding. The guy has stepped down. They have a new woman in charge, and she's like, body positivity. Mm-hmm. We're rebranding it. We're turning the lights up and the music down.
So are they going to start selling clothes that are more than a size 8?
No, it's still, yeah, I think they are. I think they're actually like their inclusivity means, you know, they're
all body types,
all body types, all walks of life, mm-hmm. you know, whatever your gender, your sexuality is, we see you, this is a place for you. But it's so interesting because at the end of the documentary, I was like, damn, that was shitty. Like,
and then did that make you just want to buy more Abercrombie
No,
stuff?
I never did. My mom was like, I'm not paying $78 for jeans. And like, you know, I would go to, I'm trying to think, I was like Marshalls and mm-hmm. Target. And I think if I did anything that was pricey, was probably like Structure, mm-hmm. which became Express Men. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was pretty intense. Like, I just remember all the rich kids who were predominantly white would just own the schools wearing their Abercrombie and Fitch, and then LFO had that song. I like girls that they're Abercrombie and Fitch, and they said that's when the CEO Mike Jeffries knew he had made it, and I'm like, from an LFO song?
Oh,
I know.
that's your definition. That's
two of them died, so now it's just I know.
Oh,
it's
dear.
sad. It's sad. So, anyways, if you haven't checked out White Hot on Netflix, make sure to and let me know what you think, because I honestly was just kind of like, holy shit, this was problematic.
Very.
It was. But going into some stories, here's a guy who was never popular in high school. Elon Musk over the weekend bought Twitter. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I'm not sure how I feel because I haven't seen anything happen yet. I mean, I feel like so many people on Twitter are just Nostradamus, and they're like, this is what's going to happen, and I'm leaving. And I'm like, well, how do you, he hasn't done anything yet.
But I've seen the future, Sarah.
Yeah, how do you, the only person in my mind who could probably tell the future would be Elon Musk.
Yes.
He's the one that develops technology for the future.
Yeah.
So if he brings an edit button, I'm on board.
Yeah, and I do think that, Grimes, his ex-girlfriend, is one of those witches, a cave witch who just sits there and takes her eyes out and just focuses in on the future. Sure. I think she's definitely one of those. But he did buy it for a casual $44 billion, which kind of made me mad because I feel like he could have solved so many problems with $44 billion. Being the richest man, he could have donated that to food banks or helped create homeless shelters or something. But he's like, you know what? It's Saturday. I'm going to buy Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And he could still buy it 5 more times.
God!
That's how much he has. So he still has the money to help with food, but it's also I feel like he invented a great electric car, which I don't own, but I feel like he's doing a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Elon Musk apologist or anything. I'm just going to see what it's like. And if it becomes MySpace or Facebook, I'm probably going to bow out. But I'm not saying I'm going to now.
Oh, yeah. Jamila Jamil, Elon Musk bought this and she's like, I'm done because she loves a trend. Mm-hmm. So Jamila was like, I'm leaving Twitter. And everyone was like, okay. But so pretty much what he wants to do, he wants to loosen up the content rules in the name of free speech, which just terrifies me because I'm like, okay, well, how free is free speech? He wants to create an edit button so users can change their tweets. Mm-hmm. He wants to open up Twitter's algorithm to the public. He wants to launch a war on bot armies, scrap advertisements, and maybe reinstate Donald Trump. What could go wrong?
I mean, I think at this point, Donald Trump getting back on Twitter would be horrifying, but also very entertaining at the same time. I feel like Twitter is now a tool for people to just get angry and rage tweet things.
Exactly.
And we've kind of, it's I don't know. I guess I would be very excited to see Twitter focus on something other than COVID. And masks. Yeah. So if they just start focusing on him again, and then I'll just be over on the side doing all my baseball tweets and football tweets.
Yeah.
I can mute tons of subjects. So
yeah, and that's what's crazy too is that I didn't realize that he made the platform go private. He is he got rid of all of the shareholders, all of the
Musk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's what I was wondering. I was like, because I feel like I remember Twitter becoming a thing with Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore when they were together. I think he was like, oh, there's this new company called Twitter and we're going to be on it. So I was like, did he just buy them all off? I'm sure he did. I'm sure. But again, I was trying to tell Evan, my boyfriend, I was trying to tell him about Twitter because he's more into ad sales. So I read him that getting rid of advertisements. And he was like, no.
That's what he's upset about.
I remember Twitter being especially as comics, we can share our show dates. We can, I remember At Midnight on Comedy Central was the big one where it was it was very interactive and fun and retweets and tweets and, Chris Hardwick would retweet some of the comics and we'd get on and play the game and it became fun. And then I want to say in 2015, 2016 is when it started becoming I could post I'm having a great Monday morning and someone could be like, kill yourself, you beep, 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 beep. And I'm like, wow, okay, cool. I mean, it became, and then you'd have someone hiding behind this little gray eggshell and it just wasn't fun anymore. So, I mean, I feel like I'm on the same boat as you where it's like, let this rich man buy Twitter. It's not hurting anybody yet. But when the machines do take over, I just
which he will invent.
Oh, I know. It's big. I just thought it was kind of crazy how we had this I had a Daily Mail update of being like, oh my God, Elon Musk bought Twitter. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to the beach.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
I think part of me was just like, well, I'm not going to overreact until he actually buys it.
Yeah.
And then there's no other point of action until he actually does something or things start happening that we all don't like. But until that happens, you're in charge of your content. You're in charge of your tweets. And if people are awful to you, you can just block them or mute them.
It's the easiest thing in the world.
Absolute easiest thing to do. I call people out all the time. They'll DM me something awful. And I'll be like,
bye.
Stop hiding in my DMs, you fucking pussy.
Yeah.
Come and write that to my face on Twitter, and then I'll show everybody what you're saying.
Yeah.
Don't come into my DMs and talk to me like that.
It's so weird. I mean, I've said this on numerous podcasts where people are like, oh, you get these celebrities who are like, oh my God, I'm getting bullied. And I'm like, girl, just block.
Yeah.
Mute. Bye. It's so easy.
So easy.
But I mean, I guess people love playing the victim card, and being like, oh, look what's happening to me. This is terrible.
I think that makes people feel like they are doing something. I feel like being offended is being construed as an emotion. And in my opinion, it's a reaction. I'm like, you're not really offended. You're worried someone's going to think you're not.
Yeah.
So you're out here saying, I'm offended, just so nobody thinks somehow you're complicit in this crime. And it's like, you could also just say nothing.
Yeah.
You don't have to make a comment about every...
Well, and everything's so baited now.
Tragedy. Yeah.
I want to bait you because I know what's going to get at you. I know this is going to get under your skin, and I'm waiting for you to... say something so I can screenshot that and then expose you for the, for responding to the garbage that I said to you. And you're like, just turn off your phones. My God. But speaking of turning off your phones and the smartest man in the world, we're going to go to one of the dumbest people in the world with their phone. This came out of Quilcene, Washington, a beautiful place. A woman who accidentally dropped her cell phone into the hole of an outhouse in a national forest and fell in while trying to retrieve it had to be rescued by firefighters in Washington State.
I can't believe this happened in Washington State, to be honest. That sounds like a story that would have happened
Where?
In Georgia or Florida.
I'm going to cancel you immediately for just assuming that this would happen into your home state of Georgia. But yes.
Outhouses.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I guess camping, but if I lost my phone,
you
part of you is like, what should I do? And then you have to stop. Your immediate reaction should not be diving in headfirst into a porta potty.
Yes. So she said that she disassembled the toilet seat and used dog leashes. Okay, I'm going to say...
Leashes? So she had more than one dog?
She has more than one dog to try and get the phone that eventually used the leashes to tie herself off. Okay, first of all, never spelunk in a porta potty. Never.
Yes, that's a dark cave you can't get out of.
That's like The Descent 3. Remember The Descent? Did you ever see that where those women go spelunking in a cave and those
lost.
Appalachian translucent people see them and kill everyone? We don't need to Goonies for that phone. Don't go down in that. Don't go chasing porta potties. Yeah,
see, even when I'm on a porta potty, it becomes open waters for me where I'm just like, anything could come up from underneath here and grab me. I'm terrified of sitting.
Yes, a porta potty is the same equivalent as Open Water, which is that movie, which we were calling it Deep Water, but it's Open Water, I believe, where the ocean abyss and a porta potty, the same color. It's that weird blue. And as someone who went to a Ren Fair not too long ago, I not only is everything's back because COVID's over, whatever, but I was like, oh, now that everything's back, porta potties, I forgot about them. And so I went into this porta potty.
And you chose the wrong one.
You go in and you're just like, go with God. That's what I say every time I go in. Because there's just...
They're nice and cool. That's the start, right? They're nice and cool.
Mm-hmm.
They're not hot at all. They've not just been baking in the sun with feces and
God.
do you look in?
I do sometimes.
I know I have to because I'm
see.
like I have to look and make sure that there's nothing in there that's alive.
Yeah, I don't want like an eye opening up and like staring right back at me, and you're like, oh God, kill it. But no, on the way over to your place, actually, I was behind one of those like luxury porta potties.
Honey wagon.
Yes, and I was like, okay. But if I was behind a porta potty, I'd be like, we're changing lanes. Like
Not even gonna drive behind one.
We only have time for hot toilets. The Abercrombie and Fitch way. How hot is your toilet? Okay, this way.
It's white hot.
So she goes, it's white hot, brown hot. So she went in head first into this toilet, and they were like, well, how did the leashes work? She goes, they didn't work very well. And then she went. The woman was alone. Oh my God. For 10 to 15 minutes, reunited with her phone, she called 911. So she went into the porta potty.
Success.
Do you remember the movie Schindler's List with the little kid was hiding in the toilet? That's why I feel like she's just in there, just like looking up, just covered in dog shit. Where are her dogs? Running around without their leashes,
They're not
apparently.
helping her get rescued.
God. So then she had people come in with a harness. They pulled her out of the vault, and she was uninjured. She was washed down, I hope immediately.
Silkwood style.
Yeah, full on with
You have to.
steel wool. Strongly encouraged to seek medical attention after being exposed to human waste, but she only wanted to leave. She says, I've been doing this for 40 years, and that was a first.
I'm taking my phone and my pink eye, and I'm out of here.
That's what she said. Oh, I've been doing this for 40 years? What, dropping your phone in porta potties?
Or camping, maybe?
Camping? Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Spelunking. Dog leash spelunking. Spelunking.
I've been spelunking in porta potties for 40 years, and this was a first. And they're like, ma'am, you probably need to go to the doctor. Hey, I'll do what I want with my body. My body, my choice.
I don't believe doctors or research. I'm doing my own research on what to do after I fall into a porta-john.
Oh.
Lovely.
I mean, maybe she... maybe
I hope she didn't go back. I hope there was nobody sleeping with her in the tent that night.
Oh, yeah. What if she didn't even, like, go home? She was just like, well, I fell in. All right, move over, George. Like,
Did
gross.
wonders for my hair.
Yeah. Is she... What's her phone provider? AT&T? Or,
Yes.
I don't know. What else?
Porta potty mobile. Porta potty mobile.
T-Mobile. Sick. All right. Well, here's another one of our favorite. I'm having a problem with the pop divas of yesterday.
Oh.
I know. I've been mentioning Madonna lately on her TikTok. I've mentioned Britney, obviously. Mariah Carey can still wear a dress in a hot tub and no one does anything because, I mean, that's Mariah Carey. But I feel like now we're going into this like whole new genre of like, look how weird our pop princesses are now. Mm-hmm. And so this one kind of caught my attention because Jessica Simpson,
oh dear,
who is right there up with Elon Musk as the most intelligent person of all time.
Neck and neck.
Remember, she thought buffaloes had wings.
Mm-hmm. Chicken in the sea.
Chicken of the sea.
Chickens don't live in the sea.
Yeah, she was like, what?
What?
The whole time? She is a Dallas, Texas magnolia flower. She appears to slur her words in a new Instagram video. So Jessica Simpson clearly doesn't make music anymore. But it's funny because John and I were talking before you got here that they clearly just froze this image of her to make her look like messed up. So she went on, she stopped making music. She created her own like fashion line, which is worth billions.
Yeah,
now.
I'm saying she doesn't make music, but she makes money.
She makes money. She doesn't have time for basic music. She has no need for it whatsoever. So she put up on her Instagram stories plugging the nasal spray, the nasal spray Flonase, which also promoted the product with a photo on her page. Users flooded the comments section of the photo saying her eyes were all over the place as they expressed concerns about her slurred speech. Now, this is just a little clip of it. She says, Flonase. Flonase, you just gotta like put it in your nose. It helps allergies. My kids use baby Flonase. And then people went after her again, like what we're talking about on Twitter. Flonase, please hire a professional. That was embarrassing to watch. It was brutal to watch. I miss the old Jessica. A third wrote, she slurs her words and she's reading cue cards. Oh my God, something's up with her. It's so odd.
First of all, you don't miss the old Jessica. You don't. And second of all, if she's using Flonase, she has a cold, so she's not in peak condition.
Right.
If she really is using it for health purposes and not just to get high.
God. Well, as someone who did read her autobiography.
Oh, how were those 2 pages? Were they?
It was a really quick read. Yeah. But it was interesting because she did battle with alcoholism, and she says that like when she met Nick Lachey, she was drunk. But I mean, I feel like if we've all met Nick Lachey drunk,
yeah,
because he's Nick Lachey, obviously.
I'm not seeing him at church.
Yeah,
I'm seeing him out.
Well, and you know, she went from being this like Christian girl to a sex pot. Like they kind of like turned her into. I've said multiple times that the sex kitten of the 90s, early 2000s, it went Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Jessica Simpson, then Mandy Moore. 5th, Willa Ford. She tried.
Sorry, Willa.
Yeah. But her first song is I Want to Love You Forever. And TikTok created this trend where, you know, these adults now, they were kids back in the day, but now they're listening to the lyrics of the songs and they're like, oh my God, that was the song? So I Want to Love You Forever was... I want to get down on my knees. I want to cherish every drop here on my knees. I want to love you forever. And this is all I'm asking of you. So it pretty much sounds like she wants to get down on her knees and give this guy a blowjob, but it could be Jesus because we love sexualizing religion and weird fetishes in circles, i.e. Madonna, like a prayer, that kind of shit. You know what? She's 41 years old. Let Jessica slur her speech.
Yeah. I mean, if I had 3 kids and I was married to like an ex-football player and just cashing billion-dollar checks, I mean, you can't tell me what I'm going to do.
Thank you. Because when she was in her 20s, she said, the real me is a Southern girl with a Levi's on and an open heart. Now it's the real me is 41 with daytime wine.
Hell yeah.
And maybe that was a shart. I don't know.
Listen, if she's not spelunking in a porta-john, I think she's doing fine. I have always loved her. I always thought she had one of the most incredible voices, and it just like completely went to waste because she was so sexualized. She became Daisy Duke, you know what I mean? Like she just got like all of a sudden this like banging body for the Dukes of Hazzard, and everyone was like, holy shit.
Well, she was anorexic.
Oh.
Because
I thought she was just living on chicken in the sea.
Well, that's probably what it was. They were like, oh, she loves chicken on the sea. Just give her cans of tuna. No, but like she like went through like body issues of like, they were like, oh, you're not sexy enough. We're trying to make you like Britney and stuff because she was the Mouseketeer that didn't make it as a Mouseketeer. She tried out and Britney beat her.
Yes, I always remember that story, and just it's like I think it's a shame that like immediately these young girls were being brought out, and then all of a sudden they're supposed to be competitive with one another. I feel like it happens with women comics all the time, where it's like all of a sudden it's like, well, what do you think about Amy Schumer? And I'm like, she's a very funny person. Like you can still buy a ticket to see her and a ticket to see me. There's no rule that says you have to pick one.
But Amy Schumer is the face of mayonnaise. So I think you need to like maybe reach out to like Grey Poupon.
Sure.
Or
no, I would be the ranch spokesman.
Oh yes, let's campaign that now.
Yes.
Oh,
if
Hidden Valley. If you're listening,
yes. Now that I have had a baby, I have lots of hidden valleys. So I would just say I would be a great spokesman for the new ketchup, which is ranch, and it's definitely part of the 5 food groups in the South, and I'm not ashamed of it.
I'm not either.
I
will go to a restaurant and get fries and ask for a side of ranch.
Yeah.
Because the real me is a Southern girl. But here's somebody who needs to stay hidden. Rudy Giuliani. Oh, this is, I mean, do you watch The Masked Singer?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Me?
Me?
I'm like looking around like there's someone else in here.
Yeah.
No, I do not.
I only watch it on Twitter.
Okay.
See how this show
Yes.
just goes full circle?
Sure.
I'll just show the clips. I'll just look at the clips because Masked Singer will be trending. It'll be like, oh, the ice cream cone is, Sarah Palin or whatever. And you're like, oh, God, is this where we're at? So this show, it's been on for like hell long enough. And they're just running out of people. And they have been in hot water because they've had people actually like...
Oh, yeah. They had the other White House press secretary, right? Sean,
who?
what was his name?
Sean Spicer?
Sean Spicer.
He was on Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, sorry.
So they're yes.
I get my celebrity extracurriculars mixed up sometimes.
Yes. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders will probably be on next season of...
Well, we'll know it's her if she's only singing a song about Jesus.
Yeah, well, yeah, if she's on, it'll probably like something with that weird eye that goes that way. But anyways... this went kind of viral because
she's a squid.
She's just a one-eyed squid. I'd be like, oh, that's Sarah Huckabee Sanders. She didn't even have to take the head off. I know who that is.
Just based on fashion choices.
Yeah, just
oh Lord,
just this Arkansas javelina.
She's just a razorback.
Who's the warthog? Oh, that's Sarah Huckabee. So. Masked Singer falls to a season low. So apparently, my sister watches this show with her kids because it's, kind of fun.
Kids love it. And I totally understand.
And the costumes are fun. And
it's a guessing game.
It's a singing
guessing game.
Such winners include Leanne Rimes. I think Nick Lachey might have won it one season. They try to get it to guess how far along we can go. I'm trying to remember who.
I always love the bad guesses where they're like Beyonce and you're like,
oh, Beyonce did not show up.
I'm sorry, Beyonce is not going to do.
Yeah, I think Lady Gaga.
If you ask Beyonce to cover her face ever, you are wrong.
But it's also crazy too because you'll get people like Shaka Khan and like Gladys Knight, and they're like, send them home. And you're like, oh my God.
How dare you?
They just send these like actual
You show some fucking respect to the dancing werewolf.
Oh, it's so crazy. So, after months of criticism and anticipation, Masked Singer episode featuring the unmasking of Rudy Giuliani finally aired on Wednesday. Now, we knew this happened because even before this season started, it got out that I think Robin Thicke and Ken Jeong, the judges, walked off the set because of like, oh, we're outraged. So, he gets on the show, and
it's the most applause he's ever gotten.
It's the right, exactly.
Since 9/11.
Oh my God! I think on a scale from 1 to 10, he did a 9/11. I think that was
no. I mean, he was the mayor.
Oh right, he was America's
9/11.
Mayor. That's right. Well, now he's sunk to a new level.
He didn't do 9/11.
Oh no.
I didn't think he was part of it. He's been part of way worse ever since.
Says the conspiracy theorist on Twitter being like, Justin Martindale said that Rudy Giuliani did 9/11. No, he didn't do 9/11, but he did bomb on the Masked Singer.
Yes, he did.
Now, he was the Jack in the Box.
Oh.
And he unmasks himself to reveal that it's me, Rudy Giuliani.
2 monster tacos underneath.
God, that's what I want. I want to see the hair melting. Remember that, like, just for men that just was melting all over? But Ken Jeong is like, I'm out. He walks off the stage, which I thought was very, like, notable because I'm like, why are we giving these guys platforms? Why? Because we talk about them.
Right.
So, yes, I think it's kind of a lame because it's like you had Jenny McCarthy and Nicole Scherzinger up there like, yes, work, Rudy. Yeah. And he was singing Bad to the Bone, which is just kind of like.
Yeah. Was this bad?
Out of all the songs?
That's your.
I'm bad to the bone.
What would you? I'm like, what would be better about him singing something?
Hit the road, Jack. He's in the Jack in the Box. Why not? Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back. Yeah, go. Get out of here. Beat it.
Yes, and reinstate the president. Yeah, that's...
So he left. I guess they're getting a lot of heat for it because it's like we've had these like, controversial politicians. These they like to stir the pot up and everything. But again, it's a show. It's a TV show. They want you to talk about
it's a business, and if you see what their rating was a 1.0 before, which is like crazy that we celebrate that because that's 1 million viewers, and it went down to a 0.6. So it's like, Yes, that is in that respect, they did lose a lot of viewers, but like,
let me just say this: it's no Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner crushed TikTok by Kesha. Remember? Did you see Caitlyn Jenner up there? It was like,
me? Just kidding.
Don't stop, make it hot. DJ, pull the speakers up. Oh, 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 oh. The most uncomfortable performance. Doing a lot of this.
She was on TikTok and she did that?
No, she was on The Masked Singer singing TikTok, which is a song by Kesha. I know, see? TikTok is also a platform on social media now. I know. It's so much.
I'm an old lady.
It's so much.
But
coming in white hot.
well, I know that like what all I can say is like my experience with Caitlyn Jenner, we had her on the Alec Baldwin roast and she could not have been kinder and more fun. And everyone was so worried about pitching jokes to her about being trans or like having a dry vagina, like all kinds of stuff. And she was like, yes, more, harder. And we were like,
God.
oh, okay.
She's into it.
Yeah,
Caitlyn likes it hard and rough.
She came like...
She came?
She came willing, like she was just like ready, like
Give
ready
it to me. Yeah, come on, Sarah. Is that the best you got?
Yes. She came ready to kill, kind of like if she was in a car. So she was very ready and she was very kind to me. That's all I know. But I know that she does not always use her platform for the right reasons. So I totally understand the hate with her.
Yeah.
But I can only judge her based on my interaction with her. And
she was a delight. She was a treasure. This Malibu treasure.
Just beautiful size 13 flip-flops coming in, you know.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
She's very tall.
Yeah, she's a big girl.
She's very tall.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm always fascinated by the bookings on The Masked Singer. And I feel like some of them should keep their masks on.
Yeah. I don't need to see some of them. You know, it's like, oh, I think they had like Donnie and Marie. Now they're doing like 2 in 1.
2 people in one costume?
Like 2 celebs, 1 costume. It's a new like search on YouTube. Yeah, they had like Donnie and Marie in like one. They had like Hanson. They were all crammed into like a Russian doll. I was like, they didn't ask for this.
No,
they
bop.
Had bop. No, flop. But I'm glad you thought Caitlyn Jenner was a saint because here in Pennsylvania... I didn't think she was
a saint. Do not put those words in my mouth. On Just Saying.
Maybe Caitlyn is looking to do some after school work here in Pennsylvania because in Pennsylvania the thought of an after school Satan club is up for vote. I don't know about your extracurricular activities. Mine were theater. I was also a cheerleader at one point.
Also considered a Satan club by most people.
Theater, yes. Oh, it's liberal. It's liberal. Oh. This I thought was kind of interesting. There's a Northern elementary school in York, Pennsylvania. It's considering the introduction of an after-school Satan club. The club, which was proposed and pushed by a parent, just one, was initially rejected by the principal. However, the club is now up for a probationary vote at the school board. It's an after-school program. What is a Satan club, you ask? It's an after-school program that promotes self-directed education by supporting the intellectual and creative interests of students. The Satanic Temple states on its website. And here we have a cute little, it's me, after school Satan. Hi, kids. Want to worship the Dark Lord? Yeah. Well, walk those cloven feet on over, kids, and sit Indian style. So this, it's a nationwide campaign to push back against the Christian Good News clubs offered to school children after regular hour classes. So, I guess there was a Satan club that started in Illinois, and now they're trying to do it in Pennsylvania. Now, this is what I thought was interesting, the extracurricular activities at this Satan club. They are considered well-rounded, I think. You're going to get science and crafts projects, which I think are, make a pentagram out of popsicles, puzzles, games, what would Lucifer do in these situations? Mm-hmm. And you're going to learn about benevolence and empathy, critical thinking, problem solving, and creative expression too. Meanwhile, This is the person in this article is that Tucker Carlson.
Yes. His take on the satanic temple.
Well, it's funny because
I'm guessing he doesn't like it.
No, I'm sure he doesn't because he didn't think of it himself. Now, the head of the Satanic Temple spokesperson, which I thought, what in the Hogwarts hell? His name is Lucian Greaves.
Of course it is.
Yes. He says, I'm hoping that with our presence, people can see that good people can have different perspectives, sometimes on the same mythology, but not mean any harm.
Satan gets a bad rap.
He really does.
That's what that Lucian is trying to say.
Lucian Greaves.
Listen, just because he damns people for all eternity and makes them push a rock uphill the entire time doesn't mean he's totally bad.
Yeah, I mean, just because he tempted Eve in the garden and was like, eat the apple, lady, and she's like, oh, hey. Just because he tried to overthrow heaven by being hotter than God, that's what it was. I think Satan created Abercrombie and Fitch. Because if you look at some of those guys back in the 90s, they were like chiseled and blonde and, and I think isn't Satan supposed to be pretty hot?
Yeah, he was a fallen angel.
Yeah.
He was an angel who disagreed and was cast down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cast down to go work at an Abercrombie and Fitch for the rest of eternity.
That's purgatory.
Yeah. Yeah, that's purgatory.
Yes.
And
Hell
it's
is
fragranced with Woods cologne.
I just feel like if you're going to have a Christian club, you should be able to have the opposite
That's
of
what they're
that.
saying.
And I completely agree. And if this is a way to get the Christian clubs out, I'm all for voting for the Satan club, just so kids have can make their own decisions.
Because I feel like there was, in high school we had Young Life. Did y'all have Young Life?
Mm-mm.
It was like Young Life. We had we had Bible study and stuff. So I feel like,
in elementary school?
Not in elementary school, high school.
Oh, see, we had a daycare center in my high school, so we needed a lot more Christian clubs.
Yeah.
Probably. Well, actually, probably because of the Baptist Student Union. That's probably why there were so many kids in the daycare. But yeah, I mean, listen, I think this is really bad for an elementary school.
I'm all about it. I want Satan babies. I think it's time that I think we'll be reintroducing a whole new generation to Latin.
Speaking in tongue.
Yeah, it's
Christian, there are churches that hold snakes, so it's like...
Exactly. I've been to one of those. It's really weird.
They're very weird.
Very strange.
My parents never, and I was very much in the minority in Georgia, but they refused to tell me what religion they were because they wanted me to make a decision for myself. They're like, you're smart enough, you can figure it out for yourself. And I went to church when I was like, okay, I want to go to church. And they're like, okay, we'll drive you. And they would drive me and drop me off and come back 3 hours later. They didn't even go in to see if it was open, but luckily that one was. But I got kicked out of church 2-3 times, two different churches, because I just had so many questions. I had never heard any of these stories.
You were a woman who was mouthy and asked too many questions as a child.
Yes. So I think if the Satan Club is open to questions, and, I think that can strike a delicate balance in the minds of children. I think, elementary may be a little too young, but probably not too early. I think the best thing that you can ever teach your kids is to be skeptical. And as long as you're doing that in both, after school programs.
And ask questions. Here's going into this next story because this blew my mind because I feel like as a kid, you're asked, what happened to the dinosaurs?
Dinosaurs didn't exist. Don't you know that?
Oh my God. You know what I love?
That's the Christian club.
Those southern illustrations where they show people with
dinosaurs.
With buckets of fruit and stuff with the dinosaurs.
The brontosaurus.
You're like, what is this? Oh yeah, they were just friends. They just couldn't fit on the ark. What? But there was still a plesiosaurus in the ocean that could have swallowed the ark. That's what it was me. I knew my dinosaurs. And here's one of my favorite dinosaurs. Speaking of a plesiosaur, I was told last week that sea monsters were not real.
What?
Sea monsters, like the Loch Ness Monster, was a plesiosaur that, this mythology of like a Bigfoot, right? There's some hairy thing living out in the
like
woods.
Loch Ness.
Loch Ness monster. There was an old dinosaur that survived the comet crashing, and it's just lived in the loch for centuries. Like you always hear stories like, "Oh, beware of the loch. There's a creature out in the loch. Be careful. Don't get in the water." And people have been trying to find the Loch Ness monster with sonar, all this stuff. This guy, this molecular ecology professor, has said that sea monster sightings in sailors' lore has all been crap because he says
Okay, I'm listening.
they are nothing more than whale penises.
Oh.
The whole time.
The whole time?
They're just
the only
whales.
sea monster?
It's a Loch Ness monster. That's what pisses me off. The whole time I've been like, oh, the Loch Ness monster, how cool. So that iconic picture of like it's like a black and white picture and it's like this, right? Do we have the picture is it in this article?
Just so people listening know, Justin's holding his hand up like a dino, like a little
dino puppet.
like an upside down question mark.
Yeah. Just like me. Mm-hmm. This is the picture. You've seen that
Yes,
picture.
of course.
So now this molecular ecology professor has explained that many sightings of the so-called sea monsters in sailors' lore were most likely sightings of whale penises. Here is a 1934 photo that was believed to capture the Loch Ness monster, and everyone's saying it was a hoax. I mean, for years, it's like, oh, it's a hoax. Now
we know why it's so salty.
Now we know why the loch is so salty.
But also, that just, like, if that's true, like, knowing that people have been swimming and diving and just, like, looking, that's why, I do not like the ocean. I'm not swimming around in filth. But this is next level.
It makes me sad because I love the mythology of it. And it's like, so here he goes on to say that whales often mate in groups. So while one male is busy with the female, the other male just pops his dick out of the water while swimming around waiting his turn. Now
he's the Louis C.K.
of whales. He literally is in this loch. He flips over. And some dude, imagine being the fisherman that day who's like, oh, look. Something out in the loch. And he took this picture like, there's a creature out there. And it's like, no, it's just some whale exposing himself. Like, time's up, whale. Yeah. That Nessie turned out to be messy. So that's the whole thing is like these whales just popping their dongs out. And this guy took a picture of it. So now I'm like, what's real anymore?
But this is just one man's opinion.
I think I'm on board with this.
I think it's true?
I think it's true.
Just one article and you're like, it's true. Hundreds of years of people looking for a sea monster.
I want to believe.
Do you know how hard it was to take that picture of Loch Ness in the 30s?
Yes, I know how hard it was. I saw the picture. The whale showed me how hard it was.
Not just everybody had a camera in the 1930s.
That's true. I know. I mean, I want to believe that there's like some happy face, like long-necked plesiosaur with little flippers in the front and in the back, just swimming around being like, I'm the Loch Ness monster. But now I'm like, if there's only one and it's been like years and years and years and years and decades and, this thing's not mating or...
Not showing its face.
Yeah. So is it just a whale? I need to see if there's been whales in the Loch Ness. Maybe there has. I just stopped reading this article because I was like, this broke my heart. Because what next? Is Bigfoot just like early Khloe Kardashian in the 2000s?
Yes, before a wax.
Yeah, before, BBLs.
Wait,
have you seen?
I don't know what a BBL is.
It's Brazilian butt lift.
Oh, okay.
The more you know.
Okay. Ding, ding.
But... now that, I feel like Nessie's been debunked. And
you have nothing to live for.
I have nothing to live
Next
for.
Next up, Masked Singer.
So all I have is that Amanda Bynes is in the news. Amanda Bynes, that's Amanda, just being Amanda. She got out of her conservatorship. We talked about it not too long ago. They were
heard.
It lasted for 5 minutes. Like Britney's went on for months, maybe years, and Amanda was like, can I get out of mine? They're like, get out of here, you.
Sure.
She is now making music. She and her fiance.
Well, that's a first, right?
Yeah, they dropped. That is. It's just a trap.
Okay.
It's just a trap. This is something that none of us asked for. Give me a Willow Pill song over Amanda Bynes and her fiance Michael. They dropped their first song called Diamonds on iTunes, and I'm going to read you some of the lyrics.
Okay.
Because I really think she focused a lot during this conservatorship. Diamonds, diamonds on my neck, on my wrist. Diamonds, diamonds, diamonds on my fish, all wet.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds uncomfortable.
It sounds like she wrote for Countess Luann for her Real Housewives single.
On my neck, on my wrist, diamonds, diamonds, diamonds on my fish, all wet.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if on my fish is supposed to be like code for vajazzle, but knowing Amanda, she's probably still thinking that that's a thing. Like that women are vajazzling.
Right.
Because that had a hot minute, but
it was really just Jennifer Love Hewitt that one time.
Right. It was Jennifer Love Hewitt that one time.
Well, I mean, listen.
What?
Who am I to say what to do with your art? If that's the song that you want to write, put it out and see if it gets any traction. But it just sounds like it would get some chafing. And I just wouldn't. There's no way she also has diamonds.
No, they're cubic zirconia for sure. They're just drag queen rummage sales.
The only person who has diamonds is Jennifer Lopez. She has way too many.
And Rihanna with her hit song Diamonds. So there is that. But the second song was released last week, and I actually had a listener send it in to me, and I listened to like a good 2 seconds of it. The second song is called Fairfax.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Which is a street here in Los Angeles. And here's some of the lyrics to that song. Oh, that was not the audible moan was not in it, but it should be. Fairfax, flea market shopping, flexing with Fendi, popping bands, Balenciaga, bitch, I got plenty. Yeah. I mean, if this is your
If you go to Fairfax flea market and you can find Fendi and Balenciaga, then you are doing very well.
I think you can. I think like the Supreme store is on Fairfax.
No, but not at the flea market.
You'd be
talking
surprised.
about the Fairfax flea market.
I mean,
that's where you find old ashtrays and like dresses that your grandma died in.
That's true. It's very true.
I'm sure there are Fendi and Balenciaga bags from like
back in the day,
30 years ago there,
but not there, not at the Melrose Trading Company. But it is good people watching there. I have enjoyed going to the Melrose Flea Market, and I think it's time that they got the representation that they deserve with an Amanda Bynes track.
That is the recognition that they deserve. Is an Amanda Bynes song.
If
that is all they deserve.
If you have not shopped on Sundays at the Melrose Flea Market, Amanda Bynes is doing the Lord's work. She is a lucky charm that the Melrose Trading Company did not know they needed. And maybe that lucky charm is the face heart on her, the tattoo of the heart on her face.
Oh, that is a tattoo on her face? Oh, that's not a sticker?
No.
Oh, no.
Which is a new Netflix show, Is It a Sticker? If you loved Is It Cake, you're going to really love Is It a Sticker?
Okay.
Which I think we're just getting to the point now of just a show called Is It People? Like in 10 years from now, it's going to be like, is this a cyborg or a robot or a real person?
Or a whale penis.
Is this a whale penis? God, I'm still devastated.
Whale penis or not? Hot or not, it's going to be our own new thing.
Speaking of whale penises, Lea Michele. We all know Lea Michele as Broadway's darling. I think gay people do not like Lea Michele. I found this out doing my research as an undercover gay.
I don't think anybody who's ever worked with Lea Michele likes Lea Michele.
She has a bad reputation, doesn't she? She's kind of a what, bitch?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the direct way of saying it.
Ryan Murphy's words. She went on, she's very entitled. She's a lot of the Glee cast members have said she was like
a diva.
A nightmare.
Yeah, she's a diva.
So this is interesting. We did bring up the whale as Louis C.K. I thought this was I want to call this Lea C.K. because this story broke that she showed Jonathan Groff, who is a Broadway singer. He's been in Hamilton. He's been in some Ryan Murphy films. She showed Jonathan Groff her whole vagina for educational purposes. Now, yeah, if we go down for a little bit,
how long did that take?
It's a lot, right? I mean, the whole vagina. So she says the former onstage couple apparently got very intimate for their work on Broadway's Spring Awakening in 2006, long before they connected on Glee. They had to hook up every night on stage, I guess, in the show. So 15 years later, HBO is celebrating the iconic show's anniversary with a new documentary, Spring Awakening, Those You've Known. Well, I mean, if you want to get to know someone, expose yourself to them. Michele and Groff were discovering themselves in the original production, their bodies and their, what is that? Burgeoning?
Burgeoning?
I've never heard that word.
That means like up and come, like soon to happen.
Oh, well, that's why I've never heard it. Their sexuality as the ill-fated 19th century teen lovers. So they had intimacy. It carried over into their personal lives, where Groff was still living as a closeted gay man before coming out in 2009. Tale as old as time. So they were given the material where they had to fall in love. But first thing he felt was they're going to know I'm gay. So he said, fuck, I've never had sex with a girl. I'm in the closet. So he says this in the documentary. Jonathan and I became so close. We were so intertwined, Lea Michele says, at the start of the production, which included partial nudity for both of them during an intimate sex scene. And that was just the first act. So things got so comfortable between the two of them, and remains that way to this day, that they're still friends, that she literally showed him her whole vagina. She said, I confirmed that. Jonathan was like, I've never seen a woman's vagina before. Would you show me? And she said, yes, because that's how close we are. And it was the next level of trust.
I mean, if he asked to see it, I'm just trying to play this out in my mind, like how that goes.
It's a spring awakening, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But how weird, do you think like he looked at Lea Michele's vagina and went, yep, I'm gay.
Yeah, for sure.
Like full on Ellen DeGeneres people cover. Like that's Lea Michele's vagina
like, bye.
made me gay. Yeah.
Well, that should be the name of his book.
Yeah.
I would read that. I mean,
yep, I'm gay. The Lea Michele vagina story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised this is the first time that that's happened to her, but I'm not really sure. I don't think I would ever do that.
Yeah. Like if I looked at you and was like,
scene
Sarah,
partner.
Hi.
I've never seen.
You've never seen what?
If you were going to say I've never seen a vagina.
I've seen a vagina, but what if you didn't know that? What if I was like, we've been friends? Come on, let me see it.
No.
Right, that's the reaction you would get.
I feel like you have your phone. It's everywhere.
I know, but this was like back in, well, yeah.
Go on OnlyFans or whatever that site's called. Or
things were different in 2006, I guess, when Spring Awakening came out. But
it was only the iPhone 4. It still had Wi-Fi.
But also, keep it professional. I guess, I mean, I don't know. They were kids.
Asking Lea Michele to keep things professional is asking a lot.
Didn't she shit in someone's wig or something like that?
Oh, I don't know. But
pulled an Amber Heard. That was shit in the bed. God. But going into my favorite subject, musicals. Lea Michele, we're going from Spring Awakening. The Tony Awards today. The Tony Awards are not until June of this year because the Tony Awards and Gay Pride fall into the same month because, Sure. They have introduced a new no violence policy.
Oh, they had to, huh?
Ahead of the 2022 show. The award show's producers revealed the new procedure, which clarifies how they'd handle an individual, quote, in the event of an incident, in a letter to ticket buyers on Wednesday. So they said, this is all a end result of Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
I mean, listen, without having seen anything, if you told me a man slapped another man in an award show, I would have been like, was it the Tonys?
Oh, fair. No, see.
I mean, what other award show would you assume?
The BET Awards?
Slapping?
Oh, they like full on fight. There's like
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A fight. I would assume a fight, but like
a slap.
One man slapping another man, I would be like, that was the Tony.
It was Jonathan Groff and who else?
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Ben Plath.
Okay.
Waving through a window. I know, but see, so they introduced this policy in the facts that they're looking. I mean, they're ready. They're waiting for it. They said the Tony Awards has a strict no violence policy. In the event of an incident, the perpetrator will be removed from the event immediately. Now, I want someone to do that. I'm talking Patti LuPone, full donkey punch to like Bernadette Peters. Like that's what I want. Just like someone singing Oklahoma.
Not Bernadette.
And just right in the back of the head. But I guess they have to do this now. They're like, we're not going to tolerate.
I'll give you a Surrey with fringe on top.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to show you an intermission, bitch. Yeah, like that's what I want. So they're just saying this now that we are not tolerating this. But now I'm like, holy shit, I would tune into the Tonys like every year if like Elphaba and fucking Glinda were like, I'm going to pop your bubble, bitch.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Not Savannah.
yeah, the Lion King cast just starts just fighting.
Wow.
The circle of strife. That's what it is. So I guess we have to do this now because Will Smith ruined the fun for everybody.
Now they have to release statements and saying we say no violence.
We say no violence at our award shows. We welcome everybody. We welcome winners and losers. But again, I'm just kind of like, I kind of want to see that. That's exactly. If I saw two men slapped each other on a stage, I'd be like, the Tonys are lit this year.
I should have tuned into the Tonys.
I should have tuned into the Tonys. Now we're going to end with another Hollywood Broadway darling, Liza Minnelli. We talked about her over like when the Oscars happened.
Sure.
Cabaret is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, and Liza Minnelli was brought out with Lady Gaga in a wheelchair, and Lady Gaga like looked at her and said, "I got you."
Right.
Held her hand and was like, "I got you, my little darling."
Willkommen.
Yeah.
Bienvenue.
Bienvenue.
Welcome.
Now we're saying that that Liza Minnelli was sabotaged.
What?
Yeah. You thought the Tony slap was what you? Yeah, this is a full bitch slap to me. That Liza Minnelli was sabotaged at the 2022 Oscars ceremony. A longtime collaborator claims. Michael Feinstein, a 5-time Grammy nominee, alleged that the cabaret star was forced to appear in a wheelchair against her wishes. Lady Gaga, if you don't know the story, Lady Gaga, Liza Minnelli brought the chaotic 2022 Oscars to a close last month when they appeared together to present the award for Best Picture to CODA, Children of Deaf Adults. Not long after the March 27th ceremony was thrown, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, obviously, and Liza Minnelli came out to a standing ovation. But this collaborator and friend of hers now says that the cabaret star was very disappointed by the experience. She was sabotaged, he said, on SiriusXM's The Jess Cagle Show. Here's what he says. That's a terrible word to use, but she only agreed to appear on the Oscars if she would be in a director's chair because she's been having back trouble. I don't want people to see me. I don't want people to see me limping out there, she said. You know, I want to look good. I don't want people to worry about me. That's what she said. And then at the last minute, the producers of the Oscars put her in this like wheelchair. They said that the plans for the setup changed at the last minute, in part because organizers had been shaken up by Will Smith's earlier actions. So they said that the stage manager informed Minnelli she'd be seated in a wheelchair instead of a director's chair just minutes before she was due to appear on stage. She was nervous and it made her look like she was out of it. Can you imagine being suddenly forced to be seen by millions of people the way you don't want to be seen? Well, that's what happened to Will Smith. So they can't get Liza to confirm this, but that's what they're saying, that she was sabotaged to make it look like she was, you know, a little
more
weak.
frail than she...
Yeah.
Right.
But also, that's not a good excuse. They were like, oh, we're all shaken up by this slap that happened. Quick, we're
Roll her out.
ditching the director chair. Throw her in a wheelchair.
There's no way Will Smith will slap her if she's in a wheelchair.
Anything's possible today in Hollywood.
I mean, I can believe that the Oscars were just like really hectic backstage, and they were just like, we don't know where the director's chair is, just take her out the way she is, you know? Like, if it was gonna, I mean, this is me giving the Oscars a lot of credit, even though they don't need any, but I mean, if you know, if Liza wants to do, I mean, whatever Liza wants to do, let her do that. Like, if she wants to be in a director's chair, you move mountains and you just put on an extra commercial and you make sure that she's sitting in whatever the way she wants to be.
I know, but that's what I'm kind of wondering. Like, you see these like handlers that have like, you know, once you get to a certain age, like I guarantee if Cher, if someone went up to Cher and they were like, hey, we're gonna put you in this wheelchair, Cher would be like, I'm walking, bitch. Like, she doesn't need that. I'm kind of wondering.
Cher would get in a wheelchair and then stand up and be like, do you believe
and that's
that I can walk? I was just kidding.
And that's when every guy in that audience would look at the other gay next to them and just slap them just because they saw Cher do that.
That's when Will Smith comes out, and that's when Jada really gets mad.
Yeah.
Well.
Yes. God. Could you imagine?
Yes.
The alternate universe?
Where everybody can be themselves.
Yeah. But also it's like,
so
that's the gag. Cher comes out in a wheelchair.
Sure.
Stands up no matter how hard I try. Every gay's like,
they're like, how did she change costumes from going to the chair to standing?
I mean, that's what Liza should have done. Like, life is a cabaret, old chum.
Yeah.
And then Lady Gaga joins in. They kick the chair. She still got it. But no, she was sabotaged.
So you're saying that Liza's in a conservatorship and she's being controlled.
Yeah, and when she gets out of that conservatorship, she can write such hits as Diamonds and Fairfax.
Boom. Can't wait.
That's what. No, she can write a song called Nessie's Dong.
I'll listen to it.
I would too. I mean, if we've learned anything, I mean, this was...
we haven't learned anything, but go ahead.
We've learned that Abercrombie and Fitch is terrible. We've learned that everything else is as well. And I'm so glad you were here to chat with me.
I do want to say that between Abercrombie and Nessie, like the best way to sell something is to show nudity.
Yeah.
If you want to sell clothes, don't show any clothes on the models.
Yeah.
If you want to sell the theory of like a dangerous monster under the water, don't go in there.
Show its genitalia.
Show its genitalia. That'll keep me out of the water.
Well, you've heard those stories about like dolphins like humping people, right?
Oh, raping people or raping each other? Yes.
That's one of the reasons not stay out of the Loch, I say. Be warned, Nessie's out there, and it's horny as hell.
It's probably the only way to keep drunk Scottish people out of the water.
Yeah.
He's like, there's a monster in there that'll rape you if you get too drunk and fall in the water. Like, all right, well, the shore it is.
Yeah. Stay on the shore, laddie. Don't let it touch your haggis. Sarah. Everyone, make sure to follow Sarah Tiana on her social media platforms at Sarah Tiana, SARAHTIANA. Follow her on socials, including Twitter.
Yes. For now.
And let's see. You and I will be taping our things on Sunday, so I got to work on that for the rest of the day. But as always, thank you again for liking and subscribing to Just Saying. I hope this brought you joy this week. And as always, send me those topics you want me to talk about. I always have a blast hearing from you guys. So thank you again. And I'm Justin Martindale, and we'll see you next time. Just Saying. Bye.